Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the French Tier 10 Wheelie Boy, the EBR 105. Now obviously this is a French Tier 10 light tank, but it is a light tank with a difference. It has wheels instead of tracks. It is of course a Wheelie Boy, and the Wheelie Boys are different from the actual light tanks in the fact that obviously naturally they've got wheels, and one of the hazards is that it's very, very difficult to drive the Wheelie Boys. You really have to get into the style of play. You have to get used to driving them. You have to get used to all their little quirks and bits and bobs. Because one thing that the tanks have, number one, is from the tier 8, 9 and 10. Anyway, they have it, and the tier 8 premium. They have a special mode, which is not unlike the Teeth Breakers mode as well that's just come into the game. And that is that you basically get more inaccurate with the gun if you're in the speed mode. But obviously you're not naturally quicker and your wheels turn in a different radius and that sort of thing. But yeah, like I say, your gun is far worse. It's absolutely horrific. Or you can go into the fighting mode, or whatever it's called, and you can make your gun far better. You can turn on a sixpence far easier as well, but you don't have the speed. And another thing that the Wheelie Boys also suffer from is generally not the best view ranges, and generally, as well, pretty poor stats in terms of penetration on the guns. But they also have absolutely filthy camo. So it's one of those things of making the camo as good as humanly possible on these things and using it and abusing it. And you'll see in this game just how good the camo is and how much you can use it. It means that even though you've not got the best view range in the universe, you can get far closer to the enemy team than you could in a fair few of the other light tanks, and you will have a very, very good time in getting the spots. The other thing, obviously, naturally, with wheels is that you don't get tracked. If you get shot and they hit your wheels, you will most likely not get penned, but you will also not get stopped dead in your tracks in terms of, you know, like you would if you're on a tracked vehicle. It gets tracked, you get tracked, you're dead. This, you can keep going with a damaged wheel, but you just get slower. And for every wheel that gets blown off, you get even slower, generally. And it does completely destroy your mobility, which can be really, really freaking awkward. But it's a little bit better than getting tracked where you would just completely stop dead, right? So in terms of obviously penetration on this tank as well, you do have 190 pen on the APCR with 240 on the heat. Now this is where I say that the penetration on the guns are poor. 190 is terrible for a tier 10 light tank. I mean, it's not that good realistically on a tier 8 tank anymore. So a tier 10 tank, yikes. But with the positions you can get to with, you know, the mobility, like you've just seen with, against the C100, you can use it still. But the 240 heat is something that you're going to need quite a bit when you are in those sorts of engagements where you've got to pen some of the super heavy tanks or even some of the medium armoured tanks, to be honest, at tier 10. So it's just something to be generally very wary of. Because, I mean, you do get the view range on this tier 10. The others suffer from the problem of not having the best view range in the universe. And then even when you get them fully equipped out and stuff, the view range is still not great. But this does get up to 461 meters view range, and with food it can be even better, so the view range can be pretty decent on this tank. It's just something to bear in mind. In terms of a crew on the EBR 105, I do run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Camouflage Expertise, Muffled Shot, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun. The 3 gun perks to make this gun as good as humanly possible, the Camouflage Expertise and Muffled Shot to make the camo as good as it can be, and the situational awareness and all the other perks, because that's generally what I will take on most other tanks. But that is the crew I'll take on Wheelie Boys as well. I don't run vert stabs on this tank, and those gun perks really do help. And to be honest, most of the time you'll fire this gun, you will be either on the move or in a position where you can use the one thing that this tank does have, which is absolutely fabulous view range. I mean, we're fully pimped out. It's 1.29 seconds aim time, which is the best. I think it's one of the best in the game, to be honest with you. And it's absolutely fabulous. Which means that, yeah, when you stop, your gun is pretty much aimed automatically. So, you know what, I think, screw it. I'm going to forsake the vert stabs, run the rammer to make my gun 10% more accurate, optics to make my view range as good as it humanly can be, and camo net again to abuse the fantastic camo that this tank has, because you can use it in so many good situations. And you're about to see that. So we're up to 4.3k damage in this first game on Cliff. We're up to 2.2k damage, and that E3 there has his rear end poking out the back of that rock, which means that he can't actually see me, because his points of being able to spot me are behind the rock, and I can just keep penning him in his rear there. That AMX-30 was only like 100 meters away, and he still couldn't see me. He would have done if I fired, naturally, but he still couldn't see me. This Panzer 7 cannot see me as well. He's 200 to 300 meters away there. This is where we're going to abuse the camo of the tank. We're loading heat to be able to pen the Panzer 7, because we won't pen it like that with our APCR. We move into a position where the bushes are covering us at 285 meters away. We fire, we don't get spotted, and we are spotting this guy too. He just can't spot us. He'd have to start driving forward to be able to actually see us. We get another shot straight into the side of him there, and the Gorilla 15 behind us shuts him down. And we finish the game with 6.4k damage nearly, and 3.9k assistance. 2 kills, like I say, 10k combined. First class, Scout Medal, High Caliber, Confederate, the 1667 base XP. A really, really nice game for the EBR 105. Again, it showed how filthy the camo is on this tank, and if you do use and abuse it, you will have a great time, because it's the best thing to do is just abuse the camo and then be able to get those stealthy shots into people from where they least expect it, pretty much. And we're on the second replay, and the second replay we are on Malinovka. Malinovka is a pretty decent map for a wheelie boy, like Steps, like Sand River, like a lot of maps that are big and open, because of how awkward the wheels are to use. They are very, very awkward tanks to drive. Incredibly awkward. And you really have to get used to it. But in more towny scenarios, more towny maps, they are exceptionally awkward to drive. And the more open maps are the ones where you can truly see them thrive. And Mali is one of those. Now, you could run a traction system and get far quicker. You could go up to 77 kilometers an hour without the speed mode, or even faster in the travel mode. But I wouldn't recommend it, because the EBR 105 has a big habit, and that is spinning out. You've just seen it there, where we turned ever so slightly too sharply, and the tank went, no, and basically did a 360, which can lead you to some awfully awkward situations. And yeah, so if the physics can't really handle the speed of the tank already, you definitely don't want to make it faster, to be honest. So as you can see, we've pushed D6 on Mali, and we're now in an awkward situation, because this Barask is YOLOing towards us, and it's like, oh god, no, Mr. Barask. But we do get to shut him down. Unfortunately, we end up backing up too far around that corner, and the Scorpion G that was in the base manages to get a shot into us. But we get a shot into him in reply, but this leaves us in an awkward situation where we are 50-50 for the other light tank that was in front of us to just YOLO down and kill us, because he has 390 alpha. And that is something that we are acutely aware of. And unfortunately enough for me, he ends up missing the ram, but he does come over and tries to kill us. And like I said, it was a 50-50. So what we're going to do is we're just going to keep ourselves moving here, because it makes it more difficult for him to RBRT us, because if we were sitting still, it'd be easier for him to hit us as a moving target. But fortunately enough, he misses. And we did get lucky as well that the Scorpion G missed from their base. But now we're in this position again. We are spotting this Type 5 heavy, and I'm quite thankful that my 190 pen APCR is doing the job at this distance shooting at the Type 5, because the Type 5 side is still pretty damn thick. And at 500 meters, we actually only have 162 pen, which is absolute garbage. I didn't quite think I'd be penning that Type 5 like that, but it is what it is. I was kind of hoping as well that we might be getting some spotting on the Type 5, but it's not quite coming in. We did spot the TDs in their base, though, and you know what? That Scorpion G is still going to be sat there. I was going to blind fire him, but he actually ends up getting spotted anyway. And we get the tracking shot, and he gets shut down. We're up to 2.8k damage with 1,300 assistance so far. I can see the light tank is above me at D5, and that is kind of awkward. I'm hoping that someone will shut him down, and there we go. The ST1 ends up shutting down the opposition light tank, which is great, because that's my light tanking competition gone. Now I'm thinking, what can I do? I am on 5. I've got 5 hit points in a dream. We've got 5 hit points. There's a lot of tanks left on the enemy team still. I'm thinking, what can I do at this point? Let's go poke up back here again at D6. See if we can light anything new up. Get some more shots off. And if not, we're going to go for a spotting run. But we do end up getting a nice shot into the back of that Type 5 Heavy. Again, I'm surprised at that pen. Because especially at this distance, we're looking at like, what, more 165 pen? 170 pen? Something like that. We go for the shot where we're aiming below the spaced armour of the Jagdpanzer E100 there. And we do end up penning him through his tracks and finishing off the Jagdpanzer. We spot a Bolsig, who's come from where the Abbey is in front of us, which is awkward because he ends up spotting us. We are getting a little bit of assistance on him. I was kind of hoping for more. We push forward because I was thinking, you know what, I'm going to push forward and try and spot the Progetto 66 and get shots into his side from this awkward angle for him. But we end up spotting 2 tanks that were next to the Abbey, which makes it really awkward because I didn't want to get spotted there. But we are kind of fortunate in that we did spot them, which gives us a load of assistance as well. And I'm thinking, right, okay, you know what, we just spotted artillery, but there is still those things next to the Abbey. Let's light them up again for my team. So we light up the T-28 prop, we light up the Bolsig and the other TD, and it's like, friends, you can now shoot them. We're going to look over... We are safe from everything on the hill in this little dip here as well. So I'm quite confident in just stopping and getting the shots into this Progetto 66. So we get the shot into him. I knew that, again, that if I drop back behind this hill, I can stay perfectly safe. And you can see the assistance has racked in. We finish off the M5355 there. And we're just going to go poke, see if that other TD, which was not killed, is still here. And there it is, it's the Gorilla. He gets spotted next to the Abbey. And again, we have people that have pushed up the 1-2 line. And we get all of the assistance on that Gorilla, which is always lovely to see that assistance tick up, especially when you're in a light tank. There's only 4 tanks left on the enemy team, which we can pretty much guarantee we know exactly where they are, right? They're all on the hill. So we're going to get ourselves reversed up into a situation where we can start getting some shots into these guys. Because we do go backwards very quickly. And you know what? I want to back up so I can just pull forward and get away from these guys. You can see the camo there is really, really good. As we fire through that bush, that Trinity didn't see us. We get another shot into the side of the Trinity. And I'm just waiting to see if I can get another shot into him. But we start getting detected. And I'm thinking, you know what? No, I'm not even going to risk it. I'm not risking that for a biscuit. And we cap. We end up capping that game, which ends the game prematurely, but it is what it is. And we finish with a really great total for the EBR 105. We finish with the victory, 4 kills, 5k damage, 7.3k assistance, that's what, 12k combined. Patrol duty, ace tanker, high caliber sniper, the scout medal, nearly 1900 base XP. A really great game for the EBR 5. Which is probably the best wheelie boy in the tech tree. Hell of a lot of fun to play if you can get used to the wheels. Trust me, the wheels are so frustrating, but it can be a hell of a lot of fun to play and very, very rewarding when you do get those big games like you've just seen. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!